Hello? Is this on? Is anyone there? Am I by myself? Am I all alone? Hello? You guys are starting to worry me. Oh, there's a hey. Hello? Yeah, okay, you guys are here. It took you guys a little while. Are my stream settings? Yeah, it's on ultra low latency. How's the stream delay? It's looking to be about 10 seconds today. Oh well, it's alright. Anyway, how are we doing? Are we doing good? Are we ready for another Sunday? Sunday fun day. Haha. Although it's typically Friday fun day, right? Or fun day Friday, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. It's night for you? Oh, that's pretty cool. I guess this is a good... Hopefully it's not too late. Maybe it's a good thing to watch before bed. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. Don't stay up too late, though. You can always watch the recap. Okay, so today we are having a fun day because we're taking a break from all the island stuff. I feel like we needed a good break. 8:30. Okay, that's not too bad. In 2 hours, that'll be 10:30, so, you know, about bedtime. It's not bad. It's 2 a.m. Oh my gosh. That's really late. 10 p.m. Yeah. It's so hard to find a good time where everyone can be on. I think this time right here is the best time because there's obvious, it's always going to be difficult for some people, but at least, I mean, it's later in the day, in the night for Europe, and then for America, like right now, it's 1:30. So it's like right in the middle of the day, but I'm EST, so then that means that like everyone to the left of EST, like California is 3 hours behind, so it's like right in the middle of everyone. It's got some like, you know, West American states, and then you got Europe. It's pretty late though for Europe, so I try my best to make it as the best time that we can. Anyway, today we're doing Luna's parents. It's gonna be great because we haven't done Luna's parents before, and this should be fun. So, are we excited? Just found out about page turner last week. So you've been watching the recaps? That's awesome. There's one recap in particular that's like 2 hours long. So if you've only watched, I honestly think it's a good idea to watch every single recap. But if you wanted to skip like all of the beginning ones, there is one that sort of splits it in half. So it talks about everything. You know, I could just show you. The big recap stream went over this entire document, and this document has a lot of different stuff. So that's what we did on that recap. So if you wanted to just skip a lot of the beginning ones, although I do think it's good to watch all the beginning ones because you would miss some info, a little bit of info there. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind. Can we get a link to that big the ultimate recap? I'd appreciate it. Yeah, some of them are a little bit outdated, and that's why there it is. Okay, thank you, Grapefruit. I appreciate it. So yeah, some of them are outdated because of new concepts, but for the most part, if you watch that giant recap episode video thing, and then you watch all the other recaps from that point on, which is probably about 10. What episode? Anyone know what episode? I guess I can click on it. Hopefully it doesn't auto start. Oh, something went wrong. That's not good. Okay, can someone check what episode that was? What episode number was the big one? It's not loading for some reason. I don't know why. 17. Okay. So this is stream number 31. So, you know, it's like 14 episodes behind, so it's not too bad. Anyway, are we ready to get to Luna's parents? First, what we're going to do is we're going to go over some designs. Then we're going to go over some names. Then we're going to just have a general discussion as to their personalities and stuff like that. Although, Mr. Fruit, we didn't really set up a, like, what that thing, like, what do they want, what do they need kind of thing. We didn't really do that. I don't know if that's necessary, but we're just going to sort of, like, talk about some things, probably, you know. So are we ready? What happened to the elemental islands? We're not doing like elemental islands. They're more of just general islands. You can go watch the island recaps if you want to. You don't think it's necessary? I don't think so either. I think they're not really going to be shown too often. I mean, sure, we'll see them like every so often, but it's not going to be like super important. Yeah, main thing for the parents is how it affects Luna's character. Pretty much that's right. And then sort of I want to talk about their dynamic with Nico as well, because surely they will meet Nico at some point. So this will be interesting. Okay, are we ready? I want to see some "we are readies" in the chat. I don't think we went through all the side characters and did the one. Yeah, I don't know. Did we go through that? I don't remember for sure, but side characters are a little bit more different because those are characters that we'll see a lot more. Luna's parents are like super side characters. They're not necessarily background. Maybe they are more background characters. They probably are background characters. That's probably the best way to describe them. But I think they're less backgroundy than most of the background characters, but they're still background characters. So, yeah. Okay, I saw some readies in the chat, so we're gonna go. Gotta get the water first, the agua. Okay, ready? Let's go ahead and switch over to this screen. Okay, so these first couple designs come in from Dusted Rose, and they match. I guess I probably should have put Luna in here. Just to sort of have a comparison. Let me go ahead and do that. Let me pull in Luna here. That worked out perfectly. I should have thought this through before. Okay. We're gonna go, whoops. Oh boy. Everything is crashing and burning. It's okay. We're making progress. It's coming together. There we go. There we go. All right. So, here's Luna for comparison. You can see in this design, Luna's mom would have a very similar hair. Oh boy. Stop it. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, this one would have a very similar hair. And then the eyes are sort of similar as well with the yellow. And then a relatively similar skin tone. Luna's is a lot lighter. This one's more green. So, out of the three, would you say we like... This one probably matches... I don't know. This is probably the closest to Luna because Luna has that one, like, hair strand out and then the rest is sort of short. This one's just all short. This one's just all long. So, out of 1, 2, and 3, which hairstyle would we like better? Just so that we can make a note. 1. So the double hair. 1, 3. 1, 2. The one on the right, so that's 3. 1. Let's see, there's 2 3s, 3 1s, 4 1s, 2 2s, 1 1. Okay, most people are saying 1, so we're gonna add a -1 just for -1. 3 has the will die within first episode for the main character to have character development. I mean, I guess sort of. It's it's sort of. But we don't need to stereotype certain hairstyles, okay? Okay. So that's cool. Next, we've got one from Code Mari. This one's of Luna's father. And he's got a mustache. The mustache cracks me up a little bit because I don't know. I just wasn't expecting it. I was more expecting this big buff guy, like macho, whoop-ow, and then he's got this mustache, like I don't know. It's kind of funny. So, I don't know if it's not what I was expecting. It's not bad. I don't think it fits very well. Plus, I mean, aside from the horns and the tail and the wings, I don't get dragony vibes. It feels like you're just your average Joe who's working, you know, got the coffee in the morning, you know, going to work, I gotta do this same old thing, and then he just grows some wings. That's sort of what he reminds me of. So yeah, your average Joe, this is Joe, so that's funny. So I mean, it's not like I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm just poking fun, you know. Thanks for making me laugh, Code Mari. It's a good design, just not what I'm thinking for his character. Although we haven't really made his character yet, so we don't really know. You're thinking his color scheme is black, blue, or something, like dark blue. Okay. Okay. Well, we will leave that at that for now. We can come back to it and maybe take some things from this if we wanted to. But then we have Rawlunix's designs for both these characters. Rawlunix designs all the characters, so this one is clearly going to have the edge in whatever design we pick. And then we got some like traits and stuff here, which we'll go over later. But just like focusing on the designs, I honestly didn't. I posted an image to the Discord where it was a very dragony head, but then a human body. So I was more expecting a dragon head, but that was just because that was what the image I had posted was. And so I'm perfectly fine with a humanoid head, and I think that's probably what we're going to go with anyway. But I really like these two designs because they show, this is why I wanted to bring Luna in here, they show the combination of the two. Yeah, dragon head would be a little bit weird, so I think we should stick more humanoid. So, oh, you're thinking they could transform? That's not a bad idea. If the dragons can sort of transform, that would actually help a lot with the storytelling, specifically with the wings. If they can retract their wings, that would be very helpful. Luna doesn't have her wings yet in general, but we don't see any wings on him yet. So you can see he's got the horns like Luna does. He's got blue skin, like deep blue skin. Luna's got a very light blue, and then the mom has a very white skin. So those two combined creates a light blue. What else? He's just got some more dragony things. Oh, the hair. He's got the hair. And then she's got the eyes. So she's got Luna's eye. Well, Luna has her eyes, I should say. So you can really see how these two blend together to create this one character, and I think that's really cool. And then the ears as well. So you want wings to appear. Okay. So I'm thinking the wings are something that sort of you can retract, right? So then it's like, okay, time to fly. And then they fly. And then the flying isn't probably something that's super common anymore because just the transportation has sort of taken over. Maybe like there's a lot easier ways to get around, whether that's air, magic, or whatever it is with cars or whatever. there's probably easier ways to get around so they don't rely on their wings as much. I mean, there are a lot of creatures that can fly, but I don't think most things are on the ground anyway, and so they don't really need to fly that often, you know? So it's like, there are creatures that can fly, but they don't fly as much as they used to, maybe, like since the magic revolution or whatever you want to call it, like as soon as the king took over, although that was like 2,000 years ago, so, yeah. Does he have a mullet when his hair is down? That's a good question. It sort of looks like it, but it might just be, well, I don't know. The ponytail looks pretty short. You can see Luna, well, I don't know, maybe it's like the hair style too, like he's got the ponytail in the back, Luna's sort of got a bun, and then this side hair Luna takes after her mom. So it's very nice. I like these two designs. So I think, I mean, obviously my pick would be these two. If anyone, does anybody have like any super big objections to that? And like you want to change up the hairstyle or anything? Anyone have any suggestions or changes or regarding the design? Specifically with the design. Because if not, we will just make these two the official designs. Feel like you're gonna see Luna's parents in the first episode? Yeah, we probably will. Okay, so you want Freckles for the mom. Michael, I did not draw these. Raw Lunix drew these. So we can thank you, Raw Lunix. I really appreciate all that you have done. It's very helpful and all your art is so amazing. I love it. So Freckles for the mom. That's not a bad idea. I kind of like that idea. Luna doesn't have any freckles, but neither does her dad, so. Really? Well, I don't know if I would call the scales freckles. The scales are just, like, they're just, you know, dragon scales. I mean, I don't know. I would disagree with that. Freckles are different from scales. I mean, at least in my vision, it would be. Luna's mom's hair is actually really long. It's just a bun. Oh yeah, I guess I can kind of see that here. Yeah. Okay, tiny heart-shaped freckles. I don't know how realistic that is, but that'd be kind of funny. Okay, so maybe Freckles. Anyone else have any suggestions for the character designs? Scales are more for protection. What are freckles? Freckles? I don't even know. I don't know the science behind freckles and why certain people have freckles. More of a weathered and wind-blown look for that. They live a pretty peaceful life. Oh yeah, the mom does have a tattoo. That's a little. I see it now. Yeah, there's moons. There's a moon tattoo here. Yeah. Okay, so these two live a very peaceful life. They're not warriors, although the dad could be pretty good at fighting things. If it came down to it, they're very sweet and peaceful. So that's why it's not like, you know, scars and stuff. They're just, you know, very sweet people. Okay, so I have decided on names for these characters. So the mom is going to be Jenny, and then he's going to be Jeff. I am assuming no one has any objections to that, right? Jenny and Jeff. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. No, that is not their names. I was just making a random thing because I thought that would be funny. in the Discord they were having a pretty long discussion, specifically with the mom's name. The dad's name is like pretty much done deal. Okay, so here's the names. You know, I guess I probably should have put these on the opposite sides, but oh well. Let's just go with the dad here for a second. The popular name in the Discord was Jericho, which means Moon City in Greek. Kiar, I don't know how to pronounce that one. That was Ralunyx's placeholder name for the dad. So, I think Jericho is a very, I think, most people in the Discord I feel like wanted Jericho. So does anyone have any problems with Jericho? Names are a very difficult thing, so I wanted to make this as seamless as possible. So I wanted to just make a list. Okay. Looks like Jericho is probably fine. We're gonna go with that, just so that way we keep it simple. Okay. So as far as the mom, these are not all the names, by the way. There were also a couple more in the Discord, but I just got too lazy because it looked like we were focusing on two, and that was these two. So we got Aurora and Aurelia. So Aurora is dawn in Latin, and Aurelia is golden in Latin. So I think, personally, these two are my favorite. I don't know. They both, I mean, dawn, that's more to do with the moon, because it's like the moon's going down and whatnot. Golden is less about moons. And since Jericho is Moon City, we might want to move a little bit away from like the space theme. Maybe not. But the reason why I like Aurelia is because of her eyes. Her eyes are very golden. And so, I don't know. I just feel like that's a really cool way to incorporate the name into the character. Because, I mean, Aurora, like, sure, it's a cool name and it relates to the, you know, dawn or whatever. But, like, what about her character screams Aurora? You know? So I think I like the gold with the eyes kind of thing. But I was going to let chat decide. And I guess, you know, there are these other names like Esmeralda, Sidra, Nemoa, Neoma. So, does anyone have... Oh, Grapefruit has a poll prepared. So, I hate polls, but okay, everyone type in their favorite one, and then if we need to make a poll between Aurora and Aurelia, then we will. Okay, Aurelia, Aurora, Aurelia, Edoria, Aurora, Aurelia, Aurora, Aurelia. Okay, Mr. Fruit, we're gonna need the poll, unfortunately. There's too many Auroras versus Aurelias. They're both very similar. It's just a difference in meaning, I think. So it's just, do we want it to relate to the character or relate to the moon more? Dawn, I mean, I guess it technically does relate, but it's a lot more disconnected than like Jericho, which literally means Moon City. Okay, there's the poll. Whoops. Go to the poll that Mr. Fruit has linked. And I will put it here too. Here we go. Go to that poll. Fill it out. And of course, I will vote as well, because voting is good. Alright, this is interesting. Alright, so here's the poll. So there we go. So Aurelia has 11 votes and Aurora only has 3. This was a lot more... Are people not voting? Because I feel like there were a lot more Auroras than I'm seeing here. Let's see, how many Auroras did we have? 1 Aurora, 2 Aurora, 3, 4, 5. There should be at least 5 people who put Aurora. There's a 5th one. Okay. Well, I guess... Okay. Well, more people voted for Aurelia. I think... Do we need to continue the vote? Oh, there's another Aurora. Unless anyone has, like, any super objections, like, no, I hate Aurelia because, I don't know, it starts with an A or something, which, I mean, would be against Aurora as well. But if anyone has any really good reason to not do Aurelia, Margaret, why? Because it ends in a name. Okay. Meredith? Okay. Why? Those aren't really... Okay, I like Aurelia. So. Okay, that's what we're going with. Hooray. So we've got... Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to just do the text. That's not what I wanted either. Why is this not working? That's border. But I just want the text. How do I format just the text? That's kind of making me a little sad, but oh well. Maybe I'll just bold it. There we go. That's fine. Bolding it is fine. And then Aurelia. Click on the marker. Where? Oh. This one? Ah. Oh. I was just being stupid there. Okay, well. There we go. Problem solved. We figured it out. So, the mom's name is Aurelia for her golden eyes. And then Jericho is Moon City for the moon, I guess. I don't know. He's just a very nice looking man. Okay. So that was, we've picked out the designs, we've picked out the names. So now we have more things to discuss, like personality, dynamic / relationship between Aurora and Jericho, but just between those two, and then also with Luna and then Nico. And then we got reputation in the town, business, house, memories, defining points in their lives, and how they met / fell in love. So we don't have to go through all of those. We can focus on, did I say Aurora? I meant Aurelia, sorry. Anyway. So we can just go through some of these. I also wanted to bring up Luna again because we sort of have to make their characters based on Luna's character. So, and then we've got sort of a basic description here, which we could use. But I do want to bring up this before we move on. So, Luna, the way Luna is now was sort of created by her parents. So, here, specifically this part here. Her parents run a small house cleaning business and just assume that Luna would like a simple life like them. They are very much like, we want a peaceful life, just we want to live, you know, be happy, etc. No drama or whatever. Her parents don't consider that she might want something more. Luna study, okay, I guess that's important. Luna studies at Brynor Prep in history and folklore to appease her parents, but she wishes to study in knighthood and chivalry. When Luna was just, that's not super important. Brynor Prep, like all schools in Brynor, have a uniform that Luna chooses to wear at all times because, or as an excuse, not to wear the dress that her parents have for her or want her to wear. That, depending on how we want her parents, because I mean, if we want Luna's parents to be more pushy, then they might be like, okay, we want you to wear this dress. Otherwise, it'll just be like, they just gave her the dress and she doesn't have any other options of clothing, and she's too hesitant to go out and buy her own clothing because she's like, well, my parents might ask me why I'm not wearing the dresses that they gave me, right? And I think if they're being more relaxed and peaceful and nice, and I think this is at least the idea that I've had of them, just in general, is that they want the best for Luna, and they want Luna to succeed, and they want Luna to be happy, and they want Luna to do what she wants to do. So they've just always assumed, because of whatever happened, like they were just like asking, hey Luna, what do you have an interest in? Like, what do you want to do? And then Luna was like, I don't know, because she didn't want to give her opinion or whatever. And then someone made a comment like, oh, maybe you just want to continue the family business, and that sort of just, Luna was like, haha, yeah, maybe. And so they've just sort of ran with that the entire time, because Luna's never told them otherwise. So then they've just sort of assumed that, you know. I think that's sort of the process, at least that was going through my head. And so with that, that's going to form the relationship that Luna has with her parents, because as these things keep piling on, you know, it started off with one thing because Luna didn't want to, I don't know, cause trouble for her parents or whatever. And so her parents assumed one thing, and then it just kept piling on to where there's Luna here, and she's like, my parents are forcing all these things on me because they think that's what I want, but it's not what I want. So now I'm sort of trapped here, and that's sort of where Nico comes in, and Nico's going to help her get over that and progress through that, and sort of eventually there will be like a coming out moment where Luna's like, look, I actually want to be a knight. And then her parents are going to be like, oh, that's so cool. You know, like mixing it up. You know, our family hasn't done that. You know, we've just had this family business for a while or whatever. So that's cool that you're mixing it up, you know. Okay, let me read the chat. Nico, does Nico have a last name? I don't remember if we decided a last name for Nico or not. If anyone remembers, let me know. Or they are not, and she feels as if she must wear it to be thankful. She never imposes in front of them or wants to hurt them, which makes her end up hurt. Okay, yeah. Although, I mean, she uses the school uniform to not wear the dresses because she doesn't want to. She feels restricted by that. So that's why she chooses to wear the uniform, because it's a lot more free. They should have no problem letting Luna be a knight, though. They seem pretty understanding. Yeah, exactly. They don't have any problem, and they're totally accepting of Luna and what she wants to do. It's just, Luna she doesn't have the courage to speak up for herself at this point in time. And so it all started back when she was a lot younger, because her parents were like, yo, Luna, what do you want to do? Like, what's this? And then they made a suggestion, and Luna was like, sure, whatever. And so she's never really spoken her mind and been able to, like, decisively say, like, this is what I want. She's always been, like, her parents suggest something, and she's like, yeah, that's fine. And so that's how she ended up going and studying in history and folklore. And then that's also why she has mostly dresses in her wardrobe, and that's why she chooses to wear the uniform, because it's not a dress. So a lot of those things just add on to her character and add on to her parents' misunderstanding of who she is as a person / character. So there's that. I think it should come from a lack of wanting to confront her parents, and lack of her parents not being considerate, and realizing Luna might want something more than being a maid. Yeah, okay. So I think they are going to be fine. They're 100% fine with Luna not being a maid. It's just she has never not shown an interest. You know, like for example, if her dad is like, yo, you want to learn how to dust, for example, right? And then she'd be like, sure, that sounds like fun or whatever, just to be like, you know, nice. She didn't want to say, no, that sounds so boring, like, let me not do that, I don't want to do that, right? She was just like, oh yeah, sure, that's cool. And so she did it, and then maybe she was just really good at it, and then her dad was like, oh, you're gonna make such a great duster or a maid or whatever. And so she was like, she felt inclined to do it, right? And so her parents just kept being like, oh, you're so good at being a maid, and you're gonna be the best maid in our family or whatever. And then it just sort of, that adds to it. She needs to learn to speak her mind. Yes. Sorry, I was reading stuff from far back, so I'm going to skip a lot, and then If I missed something that you wanted me to read, put it again. The parent should just assume what she wants to wear and what she wants to be when she grows up. Yes. But they make that assumption based on the previous, like initially, it was, Luna was like, oh, I don't know what I want to do. And then her parents were like, well, maybe, don't you just want to run the family business? Or like, is that what you want to do? And then Luna was like, yeah, sure, maybe. And then that's sort of where that whole thing stemmed from. So yes, it's clear that now her parents assume that what she wants to wear and all that, but that was because of initial miscommunication from Luna and just unwillingness to speak out and speak her mind for what she really wants, because she didn't want to, I don't know, make her parents feel bad or whatever. Yeah, sometimes parents don't realize you've grown up, but they would if you tell them. Right, and this is where Nico comes in. Nico's going to come in and be like, yo, why are you being so restricted? Like you're so different when you're with your parents than you are with me, right? Like what's going on here? Is there some sort of like disconnect between the two? And so Nico's gonna be like, look, you gotta fix this, because it's just, if you keep not telling them, the hole is just going to get bigger and bigger, and you've got to help fix that. And so that's sort of where Nico comes in, and Nico's going to help Luna evolve and help push her to be more open with her parents. So it's not parents should be 100% okay with her being a knight. I imagine it like Luna's family tells her parents, and her parents look kind of upset. They reluctantly agree to it. I would disagree. I would disagree with that, actually. I think their parents should have a more open mind about it and be like, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Just be careful, right? You know, don't be put in danger. You know, obviously be safe. Oh, Nico's last name is Tolbin, that's right. But I think they should be more open about it and be like, oh, that's so cool, and be supportive of what she wants to do. And like what Ralunix brings up, that's a pretty common trope, I think. I think it'd be nicer if they agree, then they go get her armor and exaggerating protection. Right. I think they should be supportive and be like, okay, but like, we love this and this is super cool, but you got to make sure you're safe and you got to make sure you're doing it properly. And it's like, you've got to go to school. Like, you've got to switch your major right now and you've got to go into that. So that way you are perfectly prepared and you know exactly everything how to do it. We've been training you to be a maid, and so you're a master at it already. But if you want to do this, especially if it's dangerous, you've got to relearn it and you've got to master the craft. So that way you don't go in and you don't know how to swing a sword, right? Yeah. So I think that's sort of what I would make their parents as. We can totally disagree with that and like mess with it a little bit if we wanted to, but that's sort of just what I've had in my head. Wait, so it's Aurelia Eclipse and Jericho Eclipse. So it's City of the Moon Eclipse. Sorta. That's what Jericho would mean. Moon City Eclipse is sort of what it would be. And Golden Eclipse, yeah. So, they're pretty cool. Nico, I used to be the daughter of 2 maids. I can clean blood with these. Don't make me. That's funny. So, Mr. Fruit, do you have any objections to them being more supportive than being like, no, I don't want you to be a knight? I feel like I like being more supportive. Luna's personality developed around her childhood. And how... Oh, there's a lot going on. Okay, hold on. Developed around her childhood and how her parents treated her, it doesn't make sense to make it all be Luna's fault. Everyone is a product of how they grew up, and if Luna's parents are so open, then it makes Luna's entire character arc seem dumb and unnecessary. Her character arc should be about confronting others, even if they disagree, and it's a better message anyway. I don't know if I would 100% agree with that, because it's not just Luna's fault at all. Because it's not like Luna was saying, oh, I want to be a maid. And that's just a blatant lie, right? She was pressured by her parents to make a decision. And her parents, they want what's best for Luna, but it's not... They want what's best for Luna so bad that they try making guesses. And those guesses lead to miscommunication. Because if Luna's like, she either A, doesn't know, which, I mean, that's not true, she did know. But if she just didn't want to worry her parents because there's such a big difference between a knight and a maid, and she's like, I don't think they're going to be okay with it. And maybe she could also say, like some of their friends, right? Let's say, for example, Sky's parents are, like, very overprotective, and then like, Luna knows that if Sky messes up or says something bad, that they are going to have repercussions for Sky. So Luna's like, I don't want that to happen to me, right? So I'm just sort of going to comply with that and sort of not really speak my mind. And so it's not all Luna's fault in general, because if she is like, if her parents are like, so what do you want? What do you want to do? You know, like it's time to start thinking about, like, what higher education you want to go into and all this stuff. And it's like, the parents are like, I want you to go into what you want. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Etc. And they keep asking Luna. And Luna's like, I don't know. I like, she does know, but she doesn't know how to tell her parents. And so her parents are like, well, maybe you just want to be a maid. And Luna's like, well, yeah, maybe I do. And then their parents are like, okay, so you want to be a maid. And then they keep pushing this on her, right? So it's not just her fault. It's Luna's parents' fault for trying to be so inclined to help her be what she wants to be. They never really considered that maybe she didn't want to actually do that. As soon as they heard that Luna maybe wanted to be a maid, they were like, Luna wants to be a maid. That's so exciting. And I can't wait to have her, you know, working in the family business. You know, it's going to be so cool. And so they were like, well, why don't you just go into something like history and folklore? Because that's a good thing. Maybe that's what the same thing that Luna's mom studied in. Maybe. And so they were like, it's a good one for maids, because maids, we can teach you everything you need to know about being a maid. So there's no real need to go to maid school, because we already have that craft mastered. So why don't you go into something like history and folklore, so that way you can also, I don't know, it's interesting or whatever the reason is. There should be a reason why Luna can't confront her parents. The reason is because Luna herself doesn't want to either A, disappoint her parents, or B, have a repercussion that would make her parents angry, although that's probably less of a reason. She just doesn't want to disappoint her parents. That's probably the bigger reason. So it's more that the reason why Luna doesn't confront her parents is because of that particularly is her fault. The disconnect was more Luna's fault than it was her parents' fault. And that's why I said it needs to pile on, because it starts off with something really small. It starts off with ice cream, for example. And I don't know if they have ice cream on Aurelia, but let's use this as an example. Luna and her parents are at an ice cream shop. They're like, Luna, what ice cream do you want? My favorite is chocolate ice cream. Luna wants to try the bubblegum ice cream, for example. I know this is super earthy, but we're just using this as an example. And then her dad's like, you should really try the chocolate, because you never know if you're gonna like it or not, you know. And then so he's like, let's get you chocolate, and so if you don't like it, we can get you something else. but I think you're really going to like this chocolate ice cream. So he buys the chocolate ice cream, gives it to Luna. Luna's like, yeah, this is pretty good. It's not what I wanted, but it's all right. And then her dad's like, isn't this so good? This is probably your favorite ice cream now, isn't it? Like, aren't you so glad that you tried something new? So good. And it's like, he's a little over enthusiastic about it, and he doesn't hear what Luna has to say. He's more of just like, he's running and dragging Luna along with him. So she's just sort of like, you know, running with him to keep up. And they're running so fast that she doesn't have time to think about where they're going. She's just trying to keep up with it. I don't know if that is related at all, but that sort of it starts off with something so small as that she can, her favorite ice cream is now chocolate. She can't be like, oh, actually my favorite ice cream is bubblegum. But like she doesn't want to disappoint her parents, because she's like, well, if my dad finds out that my favorite ice cream isn't chocolate, that's gonna make him sad because he's so enthusiastic about chocolate ice cream, right? And so yeah. What, are you talking about my rant? What? Am I ranting for too long? But why does she fear about it? There needs to be a reason. The reason she's scared is because she doesn't want to disappoint her parents. That's the biggest issue here. She cares about her image and what her parents think of her more than what she actually wants. So if she thinks her parents think of her as this person who likes chocolate ice cream, who likes dresses, who likes being a maid, who wants to go into history and folklore, and she's like, actually, I don't like all those things. That's completely wrong. To her, in her mind, she's like, that is completely changing who I am and how my parents view me. There is a complete difference. And she thinks that could completely ruin my life, because they could be like, who is this girl? What happened to our daughter? And so she has this mentality. And at first, like I said, it was chocolate ice cream. It wasn't that big of a deal. And she was just, in the spur of the moment, she was like, I don't really want to tell him that I don't want the chocolate ice cream. I wanted the bubblegum, but whatever. That, like, it starts off small. But then these things keep piling up. And when next time they go to get ice cream, he doesn't even ask, hey, what kind of ice cream do you want? He just is like, 1 chocolate or 2 chocolate ice creams. And then that's how it starts off. And she just can't tell him, like, no, I want bubblegum, because it keeps piling on. That's the thing. That's the key. It piles on so much that she just cannot break free. And it gets to a point now where we are in the story, where the story starts off, that it's so big that she believes that her whole image that her parents have of her is going to come crumbling down. And she's like, I don't want my parents to feel like I'm someone I'm not, or, you know, to them at least. They think of me as this person, but in reality I'm completely different. And she doesn't want to destroy that, and she feels that her relationship now, even though it's super disconnected and not, you know, it's a very forged relationship, she feels that relationship right now is better than what it would be if she was like, actually, this is who I really am, and I know it's completely different from what you think, but I don't even know why. You know, I don't know why I couldn't tell you I didn't like chocolate. I don't know why I couldn't tell you don't like dresses. I just couldn't. But this is who I am. And then she's afraid that her parents are going to be like, who are you? Why, what happened? Why didn't you tell us? We're mad at you now, or whatever, right? And more people can relate to her parents not being considerate rather than their parents actually being really cool and open to all ideas. Okay, well, her parents are a little bit unique, and you have to remember, people on Ilaria are raised a lot differently than here on Earth. For example, it's a lot. I don't know necessarily how to describe it, but it's a lot more based on respect for other people And like here, I know specifically in America, I don't necessarily know about other countries, but here in America, we are very self-centered. We are, does this benefit me? If not, I don't want it, right? That's how we are as Americans. And that, I know it's unfortunate, and not everyone's like that, but that's how a lot of Americans think. And I don't like that way of thinking. So that's why I want Ilaria to be more, the people on Ilaria think more about the good of the people and everyone. Like, even if this doesn't benefit me, it helps someone else. And that's sort of where Luna's mentality comes in, right? She's like, well, this is who I really am, but I don't want to cause trouble for my parents. I don't want my parents to have to relearn who I am. So it's better for me to just pretend like I'm this person. And that's sort of the reality of it. Yeah. So, Luna's arc comes to, oh yeah, we're 100% okay with you being a knight. All that pressure you felt to maintain harmony with us was all for nothing since we're okay with you being a knight. That would be so unsatisfying since it makes your arc almost pointless. I don't think so. I would probably disagree with you on that. I mean, I think what should happen is it's not like, oh, okay, we totally get it, and it's like, we know who you are. I think when Luna and Nico are like, look, this isn't who Luna is, it's going to be super awkward, and there's going to be distance automatically put, specifically from Luna. Her parents are going to be in shock, right? It's not going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, we're totally happy for you, all this, at first, right? Her parents on the inside are like, we want the best for Luna. And so if that means being a knight, that's perfectly okay. But it's not going to come out at first like that, right? There's going to be this big dramatic scene where it's like they're eating dinner and everything's quiet. And Nico is like, I can't take this anymore. What is it? What is going on? And then I don't know what happens. But something comes out where Luna, maybe they're arguing. Maybe the parents and Luna are arguing. And then Luna screams out like, that's not who I really am. Or like, that's not what I want. Why do you always assume that this is what I want? And then she starts listing off the things that they've gotten wrong about her. And then maybe, I don't know, she cries running off or whatever, right? Dramatic scene. And then Nico, yeah, I don't know. I would assume that Nico would go after her, but also he could stay and explain to the parents like what's going on. Probably what he would do is he would run after her, calm her down, and then go over with the parents, and then Luna would sort of be behind the corner maybe, and then Nico's sort of describing the situation. So her parents would be in shock. Okay. Her parents would be like, wow, we messed up. And it's our fault. Like, her parents would take it like, this is our fault. We messed up as parents. Right? And so this would be super emotional for them because they feel like they're just utterly failures as parents because they didn't even realize that their daughter was feeling these emotions. And for her whole life nonetheless. Right? And so it's like they're just, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. So it's going to be super awkward as well. Like, my guess is that first night Luna would leave and probably stay with Nico for the night. And so they would be gone, probably on Earth. And then their parents would just, like, we would probably not see this on camera. Maybe we would. But they would just have this discussion late at night. They would be like, we totally messed up. We dropped the ball. How do we fix this? And they just don't know what to do. They don't know how to deal with this issue because they thought their entire lives that like, oh, we're great parents, you know? Like, we're giving Luna everything she wants, you know? But the problem is they were giving her what they thought she wanted, not what she actually wanted. So they're trying to think, what do we do? How do we fix this? So Luna will eventually come back. She can't stay with Nico forever. Luna comes back. It's super awkward. Even more awkward. And this is exactly what Luna was afraid of. Luna was afraid of this awkward tension because, you know, sure, it was a little bit awkward. You know, she didn't really speak her mind with them, but at least they could hold a conversation. But now they just can't talk to each other at all because it's so awkward. And this is what Luna was afraid of. She didn't want this tension there. This tension didn't exist, and now it's here. And Luna is like, oh, dang it. I shouldn't have spoke my mind. I should have kept it cool. And Luna thinks she messed up. Her parents at the same time are feeling so much guilt because they're like, oh my gosh, Luna, I'm so sorry. But they can't say anything because Luna's not saying anything. They're not saying anything. It's just this awkward tension. And then you could also have it where I don't know, her mom, for example, is like, she tries saying like, Luna, I don't, and then Luna's like, she just gets up and leaves. So then there's this big dramatic thing, and it's awkward. And then this is where Nico comes in, because as it stands right now, this tension isn't being fixed. So Nico's like, look, Luna, you gotta help, you gotta do something. You can't just stay like this forever. And so maybe Luna's like, no, I'm not talking with them ever again, or whatever it may be. And so Nico's like, all right, fine. So then what he does is he sets up this fake meeting, and he's like, he contacts the parents, and he's like, hey, go here at this time on this day. I want to talk to you. And then he does the same thing with Luna, and then they meet, and then Nico's there as well. And so then he's like, okay, we need to have a discussion. We need to learn how to work this out. We need to come together and we need to talk about it. And so this is when the parents are going to be like, I'm so sorry. We didn't realize that this is how you felt. It is Luna's fault for not explaining that, because her parents would have been like, oh, okay, so you don't like chocolate. Why didn't you just say so, right? But her parents are just so caught up in the moment, and they are in such disbelief that they didn't realize that Luna was feeling these, that they just placed all the blame on themselves. And Luna placed all the blame on herself because she just couldn't say anything, right? And so it's this party believes it's all their fault, this party believes it's all their fault, even though it was a mix of the two faults, right? And so Nico realizes this, but these two parties don't. So that's why Nico has to be like the healer of the wounds, sort of. But Nico setting things up is also bad for Luna's arc. Luna should decide herself how to compare. Okay, you could argue that, and that's fine. I'm just running through the first thing that pops in my head. So, maybe Luna's like, I think what should happen though is Nico needs to help push her, because that's sort of the point of Nico, right? Nico is here to help Luna, and Luna is here to help Nico, right, with their individual problems. It's been a little while since we've actually done things with their characters, so I don't entirely remember what Nico's issue is. But Luna's issue is just she has a hard time speaking her mind, specifically to her parents. So it's more family issue related. And sort of self-confidence as well for Luna. But Nico is like here to help push her. So maybe you're right. Maybe Nico doesn't set this thing up. Maybe it's Nico who is like, look, Luna, you got to do something. You've got to meet with them. And Nico would be like, from what I know from them, they feel just as bad about it as you do. And so, yeah, Nico could make a big motivational speech, and then she gets the confidence to do it. And then Luna's like, I don't know, maybe she just like writes a letter, and then she's like, here. It could be super awkward because she walks in with her head and then hands it to her mom or whatever, and then she like runs out. And then it's like, you know, it's easy to just say, you all love each other, why do you put this barrier there? And then Luna, just go fix it. Right. So Nico pushes Luna to go fix it. Good catch, Mr. Fruit, thank you. Luna and Nico should help their internal problems, which lead to Luna fixing her problems herself and Nico fixing his external problems himself. Right. Except they need to help each other push. They need to be the pusher, right? So this would be the climax of Luna and her parents' conflict, I suppose we could say. Luna is still going to have self-confidence issues, and I think that's probably where the stems is Luna's self-confidence issues. But aside from that, this is sort of evolved into its own problem. So Luna sort of has maybe 2 issues. She just has general self-confidence issues, and then also self-confidence issues when it comes to confronting her parents, just because of all these accumulated things that have happened. Then after this arc, Luna decides to cut her hair short. Actually, that's a fantastic point, because there's a design that Raw Lunix made of an earlier Luna, and I actually like her hair better in the early design, and her hair was short. So I was actually gonna say this. I think Luna should cut her hair, because as it stands right now, it's pretty long. And so I'm thinking that when she decides to adventure more, she cuts her hair, so that way the hair stops getting in her way. But she hasn't, because she's like, her parents are going to figure something out. So I actually really think that's a good idea. And I think from the design, the early design that I saw, I liked her hair better short. So that's sort of, I was actually going to bring that up, so thanks for bringing that up. Anyway, should we get back to the story? I sort of want to continue the story, because I feel like, I don't know, I'm kind of motivated to make this scene, this episode. I don't know if this all happens in one episode. This might be better broken up. But anyway, Luna tells her parents, like, hey, let's meet here at this time on this day. And I don't know where it's, maybe it's like the top of the mountain or something, right? And so she's prepared this whole thing, and in her head she's like, I have this fantastic speech, we're gonna mend everything. And then it gets there and it all just like falls apart because of her self-confidence issues, right? She's like, I know exactly how this is gonna play out. And then it's like, it just, I can't even remember what I was gonna say. It's not gonna work. Partially just, I mean, it wouldn't have worked anyway, because whenever you try to plan something out and it's like, this is how this conversation is gonna go, it never goes that way. So that's part of it. But then her self-confidence just gets in the way, and it's like, I can't do this anymore. And she wants to run away. I don't think she does, because she will remember Nico's words, and Nico will say in her head, like, don't run away, you gotta fix your problems. And then she'll be like, I've got to stay here. And then anyway, long story short, she's like, look, I'm sorry, this all stemmed from before, I have self-confidence issues, I can't do this, I'm sorry. And then her parents are like, no, we're sorry. This is 100% our fault. You know, like we didn't even realize that you were feeling these emotions. We just sort of pushed everything on you. And then, of course, I like making things super emotional and over dramatic sometimes. And so, you know, everyone's gonna be crying, and it's gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be like one of those times where it's like, it gets the viewer, it's like, I love those scenes. I love those moments. That's why I want to make this show very much like that. But anyway, they will just like realize that it was a fault of both of them. You know, Luna should have been more open. Her parents should have realized that maybe they shouldn't have been as pushy, right? And then it ends in a big group hug, and then they're like, let's go get ice cream or something to tie it all back, which might be funny. But anyway, they solve the problem, and then they just sort of start talking, like maybe the next day or something. They get up for breakfast, and it's completely different. It's like they can actually have a real conversation, and Luna can actually speak her mind. It's still gonna be a little awkward, because they're gonna be like, is it okay to start talking now? But after they start the conversation, like after the awkwardness sort of dies down and they get into a conversation, it's like, oh, this is new. We haven't ever had this feeling before. This is like what a real conversation should be like, right? So I think, I don't know. Then from there, they can just sort of progress. Their relationship together will be improved, and they will realize that, like, this is not... Is there static? Oh no. Is there a static? Can anyone confirm or deny the staticness? On my end, it doesn't look like there's any, but if there is, there was. Is it gone? Okay, here, just a second. Let me fix the static. Is that better? I don't know if that's better or not. There's static sometimes. Ah, man, that sucks. I don't know why it does that. Okay, well, hopefully that fixes it. I don't know. Okay. So, are we good? Whoops. I'm sorry. Are we good with how this arc goes? Mr. Fruit, I think you were the one who had the most issues as far as I don't think that her parents should be 100% okay with this. Has that been cleared up? I don't know if in your head maybe you were like, Luna is like, this is not who I am, and then you think her parents are just like, oh, okay, that's perfectly fine. Like, no, there's gonna be drama behind it. I rated my vision of Luna's parents changing, but I will absolutely never agree to Nico planning. Okay. I agree with you on that. Nico should not be the one to plan. That was just something that was the first thing that came to my head, but you're right. Based on how we want her character to evolve, Nico needs to help push her and be like, look, you need to solve this issue. I can't do this for you. And then she'll be like, okay, let's go do this. Let's solve the issue. Luna should be the one to decide to tell her parents by herself. Okay, do you think that it's good for Nico to push her? Because I think that's sort of the idea behind it. Like, Nico is supposed to be there for Luna to help push Luna. Like, be like, look, you gotta fix this. This is not right. And then Luna would do the same thing for Nico, right? Do you agree or disagree with that? You are more of the character person, and you know, I feel like you know a lot of these things more than I would, and you would know how to format these things. So if Nico should push her in other areas, and Luna can see how Nico reacts with other people. It should be more natural. So you are against Luna or Nico having this big speech. Like, for example, after that whole big argument where Luna runs away from the dining table, or the dinner table, or whatever, and Nico follows her. And it's awkward between them because Nico's like, I don't know what just happened. So then they go back to Earth, and then Luna stays at Nico's house for the night, or whatever, right? And then the next day, are you against Nico being like, look, you gotta go solve this with your parents, because the longer you wait, the harder it is going to be to confront them, right? That's how it works. And that's exactly how this issue started in the beginning, because she waited too long to say like, hey, look, I don't actually want chocolate ice cream. I don't want to wear dresses. That's how this issue started, right? Because she procrastinated and didn't want to tell her parents, right? Nico could eventually realize Luna doesn't have a lot of confidence, and he can encourage her in other areas, which will lead her to her realizing her problem with her parents. Okay, so maybe it's less of Nico directly saying anything, and it's more of her remembering what Nico said. Maybe that's what it is. What about that? I think what we should convey to the viewers, at least, is that Nico realizes this, and he's like, she needs to solve this on her own. This is her problem. And I think the way that this should happen is maybe it's a course of like an episode or two, right? This fight happens one episode. The next episode, we see a filler episode, but it's still relating to this because Luna's in a bad mood or whatever. And then it would sort of be like, maybe she goes to school. Maybe this is a school episode, and Luna's going to school. And then this is a weekend for Nico. So Nico goes to the school and hangs out or whatever. I don't know the policy on visitors there. And so maybe Sky is like going up to Nico, even though Nico and Sky, I believe, are like nemesises or whatever. But Sky's like, yo, what happened to Luna? Is Luna all right? And then Nico sort of explains the situation to her. But then he's like, I can't step in here because this is Luna's issue and she needs to help solve this herself. So then that way the viewers are like, okay, so this is sort of what's happening and this is why this is why Nico is not stepping in. And so she's like, oh, I understand the situation now. I'll sort of like stay out of it too. And so then maybe something later in the episode, there's sort of a parallel. There's a parallel to what Luna's doing. I don't know what it would be. Maybe it's something with a little kid at a park, right? And then Nico, like maybe they find this little kid who's in the playground, and then this little kid's like crying and is like, I'm mad at my parents or whatever, right? And then Nico's like, you gotta go tell them why you're mad. You gotta to explain why you're mad and what they did, and then you can come together and make that realization. And then Luna, that's when it clicks. She's like, oh shoot, I gotta do something, right? So that way it's not Nico telling her. It's she realizes after the fact that I'm that kid in the park and I need to go fix this issue, right? Maybe, I don't know. Let me scroll back up. What 2011 Malum said? Let's see. What did 2011 Malum say? Nico shouldn't be pushing Luna or be the reason Luna goes to her parents. She has to do it for herself because she has learned through her experiences that she can do it herself. Okay, so then how about this? How about you describe the situation that this would be? Because I'm just trying to play through in my head how this would work. And sort of the series of events that happens throughout an episode or 2 episodes or 3 episodes, right? Because I think we're all good with the fight and how that works. And then Luna goes with Nico and stays at his house for a night or 2 nights or whatever, however long it is. This from this point on, I want to hear the progression. Luna would suddenly realize it after a few episodes, and then it would be a series-long kind of thing. So there's no dramatic event as far as like... Okay, I mean... Reread the same thing. Luna wouldn't suddenly realize it after a few episodes. It would be a series. Oh, wouldn't suddenly... So this fight goes on for for like a season? I don't know. So you think that this should be something that happens? Okay, so I was sort of envisioning this for the time. We haven't really planned out how long it is. But I'm thinking, where's the story arcs? Are the story arcs or just like the bullet point, like, here's this. Do we have one of those? I don't remember if we made one of those or not. Was this is unreleased stuff, right? Yeah, this is unreleased stuff. Did we have a document that sort of was like, here's what we're doing first, this is the introduction, and then here's the next thing, then the next thing, then the next thing? I feel like we did, didn't we? No, she doesn't fight with her parents for a season. I mean, she comes to realize that she needs to confront her parents after many things throughout the series. There's a story. Okay. I want there to be a big dramatic fight. I don't know if... I guess what I'm sort of thinking is... What you're saying is... You think that Luna realizes there's this divide and she has to be like, okay, look. And they have this civil conversation. And it's like, look, what you think of me is completely wrong. That I don't want to do. I think what we can do, if you want it to be a series-long decision, where it's like Luna keeps thinking, like throughout the series, like, man, I gotta fix this with my parents. Like my parents, like every single time the parents say something that Luna's like, I don't really want to do that, she starts thinking more and more like, I need to just not do this. And maybe Luna and then Nico can have a conversation about it, and then Nico at some point, like earlier on in the series, would be like, this isn't healthy, you gotta solve this issue or whatever, right? And so then Luna would constantly be thinking about it, and then she would be more and more on edge. And then eventually, I want there to be a big dramatic fight, okay? Because I like that. That's good. I like that. So, I don't know what it would be, but her parents would decide something for her based on what they think she wants. And then this leads to Luna finally cracking, but maybe she just had a bad day in general. Like, the episode starts off with a bad day for Luna. And then... How about this? Idea. Okay, so do you guys remember... I was talking... This was a long time ago, but we had mentioned something that... Luna... This is for the tournament arc. So... Luna... and Nico enter this tournament without her parents' knowledge, mind you. Maybe. Would that work? I don't know. Anyway, point is, in that tournament, I said that I wanted Luna to damage something, right? I think it was her wings. Like, Luna finally gets her wings, and she learns how to fly and whatnot, right? And so she's flying around with Nico and fighting in this tournament. And then she gets hit with something in the wings, and her wing gets damaged. Like, there's a hole through the wing or whatever. So she can no longer fly. She's out. And then Nico sort of has to take on this challenge by himself, right? I feel like I talked about that before in a stream. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Because I feel like that's sort of... I feel like we've talked about that before. Nothing irreversible, right. It's just a temporary... thing. Maybe like the wings are very flexible and healable, so like there could be this huge hole through it, but it's just like it'll heal in a couple weeks, right? So then something happens, and either her parents, they see the tournament and then they're like, yo, what's going on here? Or I think this is what I originally had in my head more. They don't know about the tournament, but obviously Luna is admitted to the hospital, right? And so her parents don't entirely know what was going on, and the doctors didn't necessarily know because maybe Nico and Luna didn't tell them how she did it. It magically happened or something, right? So what they do, the parents make this decision because they think it would help Luna. So maybe what they do is they're like... I feel like you should... They're like, I think you should drop out of school. You don't really need to be in school. Maybe their excuse was like, oh, I fell off a ladder in school and then hit something. Maybe that's what they told their parents. And then their parents are like, you know what? I think you should just drop out of school. You don't really need to be there, right? You're studying history and folklore. I mean, you're almost done. Maybe she's been there for like a year or two or whatever. And so... It's like, you're almost done. You don't really need the credits. You don't need to have the thing. You could just say, I went there. But even then, you're going to be working for us, right? You're gonna continue our maid business. And then that's when Luna's going to snap. She's going to be like, that's not what I want to do. And this would obviously be after she's left the hospital and she just has like a cast or something on her wing, right? And her wing can't retract because it's damaged. So it's like, maybe she has one wing retracted and then one wing out. Did I say that right? So, I don't know. She's just got this one wing with a cast on it as it's healing. So, her parents are... This is at home. Her parents are like, look, we think you should drop out of school. You don't need it. It'll be less dangerous. You know, you don't have to deal with these hospitalizations, right? It's going to be safe. We're going to just train you to be the best maid. You're already a great maid, but we'll train you to be even better. And so Luna's like, no, this can't happen. I need to go to school because that's the easiest way for me to communicate with Blake, right? Because Blake is helping train Luna and Nico. And if she dropped out of school, she wouldn't have that, because she would just be like, hey, I'm going out. And then her parents would be like, where are you going? And then she would be like, to the store or whatever, right? She would have to make excuses instead of just, you know, staying after school because of a club or whatever. So I'm thinking that her parents are like, you should get out of school. That's it. And then Luna's like, no, I don't want to. And then her parents are like, I think you should. And then they keep sort of pressuring her a little bit. And then that's when she finally snaps. She's like, why do you never consider what I want for once? Right? And then that's when this whole thing erupts. And then we sort of start where it's like she lists off all these things. Like, I don't actually like chocolate ice cream. I like bubble gum. And I don't like wearing dresses. They're so limiting in my mobility. I want to be a knight. I don't want to be a maid or whatever. The parents didn't see the incident happen. I think what should happen is Luna gets injured. She gets admitted to the hospital. Her parents don't exactly know how it happened until they ask Luna, and Luna's just like, I was in the library getting a super high up book from the library, and I fell, and then someone was holding fire magic had a fireball or something, and then my wing just sort of got punctured. And that's maybe their excuse for it, or something along those lines. And her parents are like, well, maybe you shouldn't just go to school anymore. Let's just drop out. I know, it's not a very good excuse, but her parents buy it. And then they're like, And then after this fight happens, Luna could be like, oh yeah, so actually I injured my thing in a tournament. And then they're like, what? You got hurt in a tournament? You gotta be more careful. And then they're like, we gotta get you no more tournaments until you're actually prepared. And then they're like, you gotta enroll into Knights and Chivalry class. And then maybe the next semester, because the school year would have ended by then anyway. Like, she would have graduated that year anyway. So she finishes this year, and then she re-enrolls into the Knight and Chivalry course or something. How is that? And then when they see how it happened, they are actually impressed by her. Okay, that could work too. They could be like, oh, so you got injured. I don't know. I feel like they would still be like, no. You got to be more careful. You got to be more careful. But they would be like, that's at least it wasn't an accident, and it was, you were training, right? So it's not, they see her less as careless and more of, well, they were in a battle, so it's kind of expected that you might get hurt there, but you still won, so like, you know, it's still good. Right, worried but supportive, exactly. Yeah, they would be scared and worried at the same time, impressed. Luna getting injured also affects Nico's character arc since she will be like, no, Luna, yeah. And then it will let him see how people care for other people, since the whole character arc is about letting other people care for him. Is that what I couldn't remember specifically what Luna's problem was? Can we go back into that? What is Luna's big thing that, or sorry, not Luna. What is Nico's big thing that he needs to solve? Because Luna, it was more, she is not, I think, okay, confident inside. I feel like we should change this to more of a self-confidence issue, because I think that's sort of like what it was, but the confident inside, but when it comes to it, it's like weak at the moment. But I think we should change that instead to be, she has self-confidence issues. So maybe instead of she's confident on the inside but just can't let that go, she is instead confident on the outside, but she has self-confidence issues. So she appears as confident, and she it's not like she has any issues. Like, say for example, her task is to, I don't know, do a handstand, right? On the inside, she would be like, I have no idea if I can do a handstand. Like, I feel like I'm going to fail. And it's like, if I need to do this for an assignment or something and it like matters, she is like dying inside. She's like, I don't know if I can do this. But then when it comes to it, she makes it look so easy. And people are like, oh, Luna, you're so cool. You could do all these things. And I think that helps add to it, because then she's like, but I don't actually know if I could. That was just a luck thing, right? I think that's better for her character. Does anyone else agree? Luna's parents could be impressed when she tells them how many monsters she beat up. Yeah, Luna got hurt in the final battle, right? So it's not like, it's like that was the hardest opponent, and so it makes sense. Like they could be like, oh wow, that's actually pretty cool that you got hurt on the final battle and you were fine the rest of it. Like, that's awesome, you know? Okay, so it looks like, okay, so we can change that. Mr. Fruit, can we start adding notes of stuff that change here? I would appreciate that. So we would do that. That would change. And then as far as Nico's character, Nico wants to be free and do cool things. But was that... Is that... He needs to appreciate the little things in life and love. Like the chat died. I don't... What was... I don't know. Those aren't, like, ringing bells to me. Like, I feel like there has to be something where it's like, ah, yes, that's right. With his total self-confidence, Nico's a daredevil that loves to test his limits and runs straight into danger with his total self-confidence. As a child, he lost his eye in an accident. Ever since, he has wished to experience the same thrill as he did in that moment. Right. But that's not necessarily the issue. He had an issue, but I can't remember what that issue was. Nico's character arc is basically... Since he has overprotective brother, he feels trapped, and he has problems with letting other people care about him without feeling trapped by them. Okay. So he wants to be independent, but he cannot be. Is that right? It might be in the character sheet that we filled out for all the characters. He wants to be free and go do dangerous things, but that isn't good for him since he gets injured easily. Okay. So his issue is he just feels like he's trapped. So he needs to let others care about his safety. That's right. He needs to let others care about his safety without feeling trapped. Because he feels that anyone who tries to get in his way is his enemy. And he's like, I don't like that. Go away. Let me do my own thing. And so what he needs to do is be like, oh, people are just worrying about me, and I need to consider how they feel a little bit more. Nico's just selfish. That's basically what I'm getting out here. Nico is selfish, and he needs to learn to think about other people more. Is that right? And then over the course of... I think Nico's arc should happen earlier on. Luna's, I feel, is a build-up. So Luna's thing happens at the tournament arc. So that's obviously pretty far. That's maybe like season 2 or season 3, if we were going based on seasons. But Nico's, I feel like if he is selfish, he needs to sort of open up. Right? You think Nico's arc should be after Luna's. Why is that? The reason why I'm saying that Nico should be sooner is because if he is more selfish and he's like, let me do what I want, stop getting in my way. If Luna starts caring about Nico and Luna's like, look man, you gotta be a little bit more careful here. Nico is going to take that and be like, why are you here? Go away. Let me do my own thing. So I would feel like if Nico didn't change early on, then Luna would have a hard time getting closer to Nico and them bonding that relationship. Because, and I mean, I think part of it would be that Nico, I mean, you could make this argument and be like, well, it's split up into two. Like, Nico opens up to Luna, right? And then when Luna tells him to not do this because it's dangerous, he sort of listens to her. In which case, there would sort of have to be an initial change in character. Like Luna would have to change Nico's character a little bit in the beginning to allow him to accept her as, like, I need to listen to her. And then later on, the whole Xavier thing could happen later. So it could be broken up into two. But I was just, as far as right now, initially with Luna, it's going to be harder for her to get closer to him if he is like, anybody who holds me back is in my way. Luna's character arc would be in the tournament arc, and Nico's character arc could be in the quest arc, which is directly after. Is it, though? Because the tournament arc... The quest arc is quests from... Which document? Which document is it? It's not this one. I don't know what document. I'd have to pull it up. All right, just a second. Let me find it. Let me go look around for the documents. Oh, page turner story arcs. Hey, would you look at that? We did make a good story arc one. Haha. Okay. Let me set this up. We gotta go 150. All right, there we go. Here's the story arc. So we got intro arc, new worlds arc. This is where they travel. Okay. Xavier arc. Okay. Blake arc. So this is, yeah, this is the big fight with Blake. The big fight between Blake, Luna, and Nico. The magic arc. The beginning of season 2. The night/quest arc. The Monster Island arc. Wait, where's the tournament arc? Oh. This? Oh, are these what you're talking? Oh, here we are. Maybe, yeah. Tournament arc. Night in training arc. I thought originally what we were going to do is Luna and Nico would sort of be following the attendant's guide. And so the attendant, what he would or she would do is they would say, hey, go give me this item. Go do this. And they would just give them random quests to do. And then they would be like, the attendant would be like, okay, so your next mission/quest is to go fight in this tournament and become victorious. That'll prove that you are ready to move on to the next stage and get harder quests, right? And then after they do that, they do some more quests, and then they sort of move on and try to become knights. That's sort of what I had in my mind. The tournament that they do where she would get injured was specifically for a quest by the attendant and by the king, right? So that was sort of that. And then eventually they would obviously have to do more tournaments for becoming a knight, but that would be different. I feel like that should be different. Read the tournament arc and Knights in Training arc in full. Oh boy. Knights in Training. Okay. Luna and Nico compete in a tournament to become apprentice knights. Usually people would wait until their final year of knighthood and chivalry to complete the tournament, but the attendant ordered Luna and Nico to do it. Oh, okay. With the training from Blake, Luna and Nico managed to succeed in becoming apprentice knights. Okay. No, but that would still mean that the quest would still be first. That doesn't change what I was saying. You said that the quest arc is directly after Knights in Training. Do some quests. Okay. I think what they should do is do quests before they go do become a knight, because they need to get their experience up. They need to get their experience up. And by doing quests beforehand, they could be like, okay, so I've got some experience. I got to go defeat some giant toads or whatever, right? They do that. They become knights. They do more hard quests. But these quests, maybe they'd get some money for. No, they become knights first so that they can do quests. Not official quests. I'm talking about quests from the attendant. The attendant needs to judge if they are going to be good. This is like, it's a test, right? First, you gotta find out if they're stealing your soul. Next, you gotta go do some basic quests, because if they can't do those basic quests, there's no way that they can become a knight. So they do those basic quests, then the attendant is like, look, you're good, go become a knight. And then what they do is they do official quests that are not affiliated with the attendant. The attendant is like, look, go to the quest board that is officially administered by a questing foundation or the king or whatever it is. It's like in those shows where it's like an isekai, right? Like there's always that adventurer's quest board and they go pick one. That's exactly what I'm thinking here. So then they would pick some, and then they would get their rank up, and then they would earn more money. And so they would do that for some time. And then they would move on and do the next thing, the Monster Island arc. After they get their rank up high enough to get to the Monster Island, then they go. Some of the side characters will be introduced in the first few episodes and some after. Okay, the attendant quests are still happening before they become knight. Yes. That, I feel like that's sort of what's been in my head this entire time. Is they would do quests for the attendant, and then they would become knights, and then they would do official quests. Raw Lunix, did I miss something? I'm sorry. What'd you say? What'd you say? Could you put it again? I missed it. In the Knights in Training arc, this is when Nico's cat dies, which I think would be a really good turning point for Nico's arc. Okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, there was going to be something with that. Yeah, that's fine. Although we have to figure out how to incorporate. I feel like we need to do a deeper dive into Nico's situation, very similar to what we did with Luna's character here. This was a very good stream. I know that this was the parents' stream, but this is really good for character development. You got lost in the story again when you were speaking about the parents. Did I miss something then? Was it that far back? I'm sorry. I didn't realize. You realize you need to care more. Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Because if Nico was like super selfish and he's like, I don't really care about anyone but myself and Luna, right? Like anyone else, if they get hurt, that's their fault, right? But then if the cat dies, he's like, oh shoot. The cat's been fine this entire time. I thought he would be good, but no. I gotta be more careful. So that's good. Yeah, okay. Going back to what I was saying earlier. I realized that this was supposed to be the parents' stream, but this was really good for character development. Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, because I can use clips for the parents. But there was just too much of a big discussion to put into a recap. So we're gonna have to. I feel like we need to write out. We need to add to this, and add a whole section of her relationship with her parents, and we need to add her parents here too. So we could do that after the stream. Nico can learn to care after meeting others and connecting with them in quests and missions and Luna. Okay. That could work. I feel like what should happen... I know this is gruesome, but I feel like this would be good for Nico's character. I think what should happen is he should be the reason why... Because maybe one quest required, like, you had to go in a big group, so then they had to team up with another group. And so what happens is Nico is on the more selfish side, right? And so what he does is he and Luna are sort of sticking together. He does something, and he needs to help save this group, or maybe a specific person in the group, but he doesn't. He's like, oh, I have a cut. I need to get a band-aid out or something. Something stupid like that. And this person's currently like hanging onto the side of a cliff. And then Nico's like, here, just hold on just one more second. I know that's sort of a contrast because it's like, I'm sort of painting it as a funnier scene, but it would actually be bad. Like he would die. The person hanging on would fall down the mountain. Maybe he wouldn't die, but he would at least get very injured. And then Nico would be like, why didn't I just help him up, right? Something like that. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fruit. I really appreciate it. Reputation in the town. We didn't we didn't discuss this. We don't know if most people like them or not. I mean, it's assumed that they would, but I'm just saying. Okay, so this is good. We should add all of this to the Holy Bible after we're done with the stream. I know. I was just messing with you. I'm just kidding. Okay. Just a reminder of what these two look like. Okay, so I think everyone's okay with Luna's problem, right? She has self-confidence issues, and she is disconnected from her parents. We can add everything. So you don't want to add it right now. You want to wait and then go stream by stream and add everything. I mean, that's fine. It's just gonna be a lot more work, but oh well. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, so we're just going to do... That's fine. We could just stick with these. What's his name? Jericho, that's right. Jericho, affable, gregarious, understanding, diplomatic, loyal, observant, resourceful, diligent, and pacifist. He loves his wife a lot, and his daughter as well. A very good fighter, but hates conflict. Loves shiny things. That sort of goes back to like dragons, you know, dragons like gold and stuff. Collects a lot of things that he finds pretty. Always jumps in to make peace when he sees trouble. A family man. Okay. And then Aurelia. Self-disciplined. Learns to stop being clumsy / still is sometimes. Calm, proactive, adaptable, adventurous, kooky, witty, and non-judgmental. Loves her husband a lot, and her daughter as well. Not a good fighter, but very brave. Would pour hot water on burglars if needed. Loves telling stories. Shares from the heart. Would even help strangers. A family lady. Aw. Wait, it's not Jericho. It's softer than Jerry. Jericho, right? Is it Jericho? Not Jericho. Jericho. Is that right? Jericho. No, that's wrong. Jericho. No, Hardy. Jericho. 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 Okay, let me... Jericho. Jericho. Okay. We figured it out. Okay, so Jericho, Aurelia, good. Near a river. Okay, to be perfectly fair, we can't really discuss this. At least the location. We might be able to describe like what it is. I feel like we should do that after we've sort of developed the town that they live in. Memories. that's like very niche stuff to do. Like if we wanted to and we were just like bored, I feel like we could. It's going to be, since we're not talking, I think the memories should be more specific to, I think we should only do the memories that are needed to be in the show. Like for example, the ice cream memory for Luna. Oh, the river was already decided earlier. Okay, fair enough. That's fine. And then memories, like if they're talking with Nico, they could be like, oh, we met this and that and whatever, right? You're excited about all the boring things. Well, that's not necessarily boring. It's just, it's less important. Like, I think all that stuff is interesting too. And I like having well thought out characters. But we've got so much to do that it's being put on the back burner. So that's the issue with developing like background characters. Not background characters, some reoccurring characters. Someone said reoccurring characters. That's the problem with developing them to the extent as the main characters. Like, I like doing it. It's just, if we were to do that with every single character, it would take forever to do. So, yeah. Little details bring the story together. I know. I'm just saying, as of right now. I'm not saying we're never going to do it. I'm saying for later. We'll do it for later. Like, I mean, obviously we're running out of time now, but like, I don't think we need to go back into this at these characters for a while. I think we're good for now, but then like come later when we start, you know, writing the script and writing the things that actually happen, we're going to have to develop the characters even further than what we have right now. We're sort of just doing a general summary of these characters. We will continue to develop them further. It's just right now we need to know the basics so that way we can understand how these characters are going to be used and how they will work in the show. Does that make sense? We will definitely come back to these characters. But for right now that we've developed these characters, we can continue to develop other things, so that way once we've laid the groundwork, we can start building up the house, if that makes sense. Okay, for when they met / fell in love, Jericho liked Aurelia's shiny golden eyes. And then they met up more and more and fell in love. That's fun. I like that. I like that. I want to do that. It's like he likes shiny stuff and the golden... I love that. That's such a good idea. Okay, we're doing that. I don't know why that's so weird autocorrect, but... Oh, Raw Lunix, you playing that from the very beginning. Nice. That's amazing. Okay. So we've come to the point in the stream that we need to discuss what we're doing next week. So here's our options. We could do a Nico's parents stream and do that alongside with Nico's problem. It would basically be the Nico equivalent of this stream. So we could do that. Or we could go back to world building. Those are our two options. Unless if anyone else had another option. I mean, like, there's obviously side characters, but I don't feel like we should do side characters just yet. There's more important things to do, right? So, Nico's parents / Nico's problem, because that's really important. Anything to do with the main characters is important, right? Side characters are less important, because you can really just stick any character in for side characters and it will work. It's not dependent on the story as much. I think we should stick with this theme and do Nico's parents / That's probably a good idea, because since we're sort of talking about it, and we can sort of use this stream next week and be like, okay, so Here's Luna's problem. This is what Luna is doing to help Nico, and this is what Nico is doing to help Luna, right? So I agree. This is like our little mini arc in the page turner development progress. If this was made into a show, this would be the character development arc. That's funny. So, okay, I agree. I think we should do Nico's parents' stream. So, we'll make a channel in the Discord for those. These characters are going to be a lot less interesting. They're going to be, I don't know. I don't even know what I have in my head for them. I just have like blonde, or not blonde, ginger, right? Yeah, Irish. It's not they're boring, it's just the character designs are going to be a lot less interesting because they're humans, you know? Humans are boring. It's not a fun story if you could just replace people. Okay, that's not what I meant. I meant extra side characters. We have the really good side characters right now, but I'm talking about the side characters who are just in Luna's class, right? Those are a lot less important. My Hero is very much a large cast show. This show is a lot more focused on Luna and Nico and less focused on the characters in their classes. So, and then something with the grandma, right? I don't know what was up with the grandma. It's been so long since we've done all this stuff. This doesn't have it. This doesn't have it. Yeah, there's nothing. I don't know. What was the, what was up with the grandma? Yeah, oh yeah, she was in the fire. Okay, what, I remember there being a fire now. And the grandma. Someone's deaf, right? I'm trying to remember what we did that stream. Okay, we need to all come together and piece together. Did she die? Who is all in Nico's family? It's Xavier, his mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa. And one of them is deaf. Yeah, one of them is deaf. What was the significance of the fire? Oh, wait. Oh, is that how Nico lost his eye? I don't remember. What did we have? I don't think we would have written down anything for that. That was just all in a stream. Shoot, what was it? Yeah, we should. Well, I can't say whether or not we should drop it or not because I don't remember what it was. I'll have to go back and like. So, is that how he lost his eye? Is his eye got burnt? I think maybe that's what it was. But what was the significance with his grandma? Are you sure? Are you sure I wrote it down somewhere? I don't even remember what stream it was. I think the fireworks is how it started. Wait. The fire, I remember now. The fire is what changed Xavier to be the more careful guy. That's what it was. That was Xavier's character arc. This didn't really have as much to do with Nico. This had to do with Xavier because Xavier was the one. Wasn't it Xavier who pressured Nico to do the fireworks even though Nico was like, look, I don't think we should really be doing it inside, right? Like, we should take it outside. But then Xavier was like, nah, shoot it out from the window. But then if I remember correctly, the fireworks, they shot it out from the window because they were grounded or something, right? They snuck the fireworks in. And so Xavier was like, yeah, let's shoot him from the window. And then the fireworks got shot, and then they hit a tree. The tree caught on fire. The tree fell in to the house, and then the whole house caught on fire, right? And then Nico got scared because he's afraid of fire or whatever. Or maybe this caused him to be afraid of fire. But anyway, Nico escapes. Xavier gets trapped. And something, I don't even remember how the grandma came into play with this, but Nico looks back and he's like, wait, Xavier's not here. and he's already escaped, right? And so he's like, oh, I gotta go back in. And then this was the drama, like, oh man, this is so cool, like dodging and doing parkour all around the fire. You know, it's like, whoa, this is so cool. And then he grabs Xavier, and he's like running out and saves Xavier, and then whoa, it's amazing, right? You don't remember any of that, Grapefruit? I remember it now. It all clicked. Does anyone remember that now? It was the grandma? Oh, yeah. Since they were deaf, that's why they were able to light off the fireworks, because the parents went to the festival. They couldn't go to the festival, and they wanted to go to the festival. So they snuck out the fireworks, and since the grandma was the only one home because the parents went to the festival to have fun, the grandma couldn't tell that there were fireworks going off. And so since they were like, oh, well, grandma's downstairs, the only way that she would be able to know is if she looked outside. However, since there's already a festival going on, there's already fireworks, so it should be a big deal. So then they were like, well, since they were grounded because they couldn't go to the festival, they were like grounded, so they couldn't go outside anyway. So Xavier was like, I still want to see fireworks, so let's shoot them off from the house. And then that's how it happened. I remember now. It all came back. It all came back. That sounds familiar to everyone, right? Now that I've re-explained it. What stream was that in? Because I don't remember there being a specific stream for it. But write it down before I forget. I don't want to write it down again, but where should we write it down? I don't know. There was a stream specifically for that. I'll create a new document and then write it down. Oh, Nico's backstory. Did we have a Nico's backstory stream? There was. Okay, hold on. Let me look for the document. I don't know if there was a document, but I feel like there would have had to have been, right? Side characters, page turner. Na. Magic. And then we get into odd page turner stuff. What? Are we sure we made a document for this? Are you sure? I'm not seeing it. I don't... I don't... I'm not finding a document about it, unfortunately. I mean, unless if it's in like a Google Drive and it's just not showing up in the document for some reason. I can check my Google Drive. I feel like we've done more than that, and it's just not maybe showing up everything. Page for magic ideas. Magic, plot. Yeah, I'm not finding it. That's weird. Maybe we didn't have a document for Nico's backstory. Huh. Okay, well, that's weird. Anyway, click the link. I can't. It doesn't work. It's like there was an error. Something went wrong. I don't know why. I can't click the link. Sorry. I don't know why it's not working. It says there's an error. So, anyway, we'll have to write that down. So, I guess we've got some stuff to do after the stream. Okay, so I think that's it, right? Next week we are doing Nico's parents, but also his family in general, and it's Nico's issue disguised in his parents, because we got to develop the parents in order to develop the issue, right? Because that's not entirely true, but his parents definitely play a role in it, I think, because his parents fight a lot, right? Is that Is that what it was? His parents fight? In that stream we were just chatting? Okay. I guess we weren't writing anything down in that stream. So that's sort of unfortunate, but I'm glad we remembered it all. And I mean, I guess there's a recap episode for a reason, but yeah. I don't know. I felt like there was an issue with his parents and they didn't get along perfectly or something. The side character's not important. No, that's not it. The side characters are important. I'm saying, as of right now, we have more important things to discuss than making more side characters. Because sure, we could make more side characters, but we can't use them for anything until we have a place for them in the story, right? So we got to develop the story more before we can just start aimlessly making side characters. At least for me. I feel like the side characters should come later, and we should sort of develop the story more. That they were always off in Ireland, leaving Nico and Xavier. Was it? I don't know. Did we ever discuss what was up with the parents? Okay, well, we can do that next week. We'll do that next week and describe sort of like what the parenting life is like for Nico, because I don't remember. Well, what kind of show is this one? Because I seem to be misinterpreting. I mean, it's not. I don't know. This is definitely more of a Luna and Nico go on adventures. It's not like, you know, the whole class is involved. I don't know. We haven't developed it enough. We've only really been developing things for Luna and Nico because they are the most important characters in this. Like, Blake is going to be a big prominent character. And then, well, Callisto is only going to show up later, so he's not really there too much. And then obviously there's going to be episodes where we're going to see a lot of the school life, right? But, I mean, there's still going to be side characters. It's not like we're only ever going to see Luna and Nico. I'm talking about the story. It's mostly Luna, Nico, and Blake. Specifically in the beginning. And later on. Like, it's only at the very end where Callisto starts getting involved. So, it's not... I mean, like, we're still going to be seeing Xavier, and we're still going to be seeing Kate, and we're still going to be seeing Emily, and all these characters. It's just, for the story, the plot-driven story, that's more of Luna and Nico, because they are really the only ones who are training their magic, and they are the only ones talking with the attendant and going on quests, aside from Blake. Blake is helping them with that, but it's more of just them, you know, actually doing the quests. Blake isn't doing the quests, he's just helping train them, right? And so there's still going to be times when we see all the side characters, and it's a fun episode where they go out and shop and whatever, right? And they go on an adventure with their friends, right? Maybe they go hiking in the mountain and they encounter something bad, right? But there's still, as far as the plot-driven motives and stuff, it's mostly just Luna and Nico. Because, like, I don't know if Blake's going to sneak on with them, but Luna and Nico, when they go to the Monster Islands, that's mostly Luna and Nico, right? So. Okay, I don't know what's been going on in chat. Oh, you guys are still talking about that. Okay, well, we're going to talk about Nico's parents next week. So we're going to end this stream here, unless if anyone else has one last thing to say about, like, Luna's parents or Luna's character. Does anyone else have anything to say? Because if not, we're going to end, and we will continue this discussion next week. Okay, the reason why we're doing a more broken family for Nico is because Luna's family is a lot more together, you know? Like, Luna's parents are very accepting and they want what's best for Luna. And so to contrast with that, Nico's family has to be a lot more, like, actually disconnected, there's drama on Luna's side, but it's like it's fixable drama, whereas Nico's side it's a lot less fixable. It's way more irreversible, and so Nico has to learn to live with that, right? And so it's not so much of like something that you can fix. And Nico's problem isn't as much stemmed from the parent issues. That's just something he has learned to deal with. His issue is a lot more with Xavier. So, anyway, that is it for this stream. So I'm going to end it. I will see you all next week. Thank you for joining me. It was fun, and I can't wait to do next week. This is a good break from world building, because we've been doing a lot of world building, and we needed a break. All right, bye everyone. Thanks for coming. Bye.